Week 7, Lesson 2. Okay, so in the box at the top of the screen, you are seeing the difference between permutations and combinations. Okay, so kind of the first really important thing is that on permutation, the order matters. And that is the wrong pen. There we go, let's go with that. Order matters. So it's like if you're picking a president, a vice president, and a secretary, all right? The order there matters. Versus over here where order does not matter, this is more like picking a committee, all right? And there's the two definitions along with two different notations. So you might see notation like this, or you might see notation like this. In either case, it does require factorials in order to compute it. Likewise over here, you might see this notation or this notation, but in this case, it does take some factorials. And then in some of these examples, you won't even have to use either one of them. You may just be using what's called the fundamental counting principle. So I will try to explain these the best that I can. Again, you can always join me on Zoom and ask your questions. Okay, so let's start with this first one. In how many ways can the letters in candle be arranged? Well, first thing, there are 6 different letters, right? 6. 6 letters. So in this first position, we can put any of those 6 letters. All right, now once you've picked a letter to go there, you don't have 6 letters to pick from anymore. Now you only have 5. And once you've placed 2 letters, you no longer have 6 to pick from, you've got 4. And that continues all the way down, and you might recognize this to be 6 factorial. And if you have a calculator, or if you just, compute that out, you'll get 720 ways to arrange those letters. Okay, example 2. Brandon must wear one of 4 shirts and one of 2 ties. So there's, again, fundamental counting principle. First, he's going to have to pick a shirt, and he's got 4 to pick from. And then he's going to have to pick a tie, and he's got 2 to pick from. So that means that there are 8 possible ways that Brandon can get dressed. We're not even talking about his pants, but that's okay. All right, next. So this problem, give me a second. I'm trying to get a pen. I'm not sure why this isn't working. Give me a sec. Yeah. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, so we've got 4 boys and 3 girls. So in other words, we have 7 people. Okay, so regardless of gender, there are 7 people. We can arrange them in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can pick any of them to go first, and then second, and then third, and that goes all the way down. Ends up being 7 factorial, or 5,040. Okay, now this gets a little more complicated when you put more conditions on it. Okay, so if you look at the next example, you'll notice it's still the same 4 boys and 3 girls, but this time we want no girls standing together. So this is going to be a 3-part process. Okay, so let me see if I can break this down for you. So number 1, let me get those boys, the 4 of them, and arrange them, all right? Which is kind of like the problem right above it. If I just take the boys and arrange them, that can happen 4 factorial ways. So let's just assume that I have a boy, a boy, a boy, a boy, okay? Next, I need to pick the position of the girls, because there's only 3 of them, right? And they just can't stand together. But there's a lot of different places that they could stand. So this is the positioning of the girls, all right? So am I going to put them in that position or that position, right? These are all the possible places that those girls could stand. There are 5 of them, but I need to choose 3, right? Even though there's 5 available, I'm only choosing 3 because there's only 3 girls. Okay, so once those positions have been picked, then I need to actually arrange the girls with a 3 factorial. And if you grab your calculator and multiply all 3 of these, 1, 2, 3 together, you should get 1,440. So let me scoot this up, and let's try this next one. So how many license plates of 5 symbols, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can be made using letters for the first two. Okay, so if this has to be a letter and this has to be a letter, that means there's 26 options there and there's 26 options there. And then digits for the remaining 3 symbols. So this has to be digit, digit, digit. And there are 10 digits, 10 digits, 10 digits. Don't forget 0 is considered to be a digit. And if you break out your calculator, you should get 676,000 different license plates. All right, let's try this next one. How many 2-digit numbers are there? So that means I need a number in the tens place and a number in the ones place that are made up of only odd digits. Okay, so the odd digits are 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. All right, so that means that any of them could go here, and any of those could go here, okay, which would make 25. Be careful when the problem says stuff about even digits, because 0 is considered to be an even digit, and you couldn't put 0 in this spot, okay? Let's scoot this up. Okay, so I only have a couple more examples. Let's take a look at this one. So we are trying to make 4-digit numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4 can be made using each digit once. Okay, so if I'm only allowed to use each digit once, and I've got 4 of them here, then I would have 3 available, and then 2 available, and then 1 available, which multiplies to be 24. Okay, 4-digit number. Oh, but this time I have 5 to pick from. 5, 4, 3, 2, which is 120. By the way, this is also the same as 5 permutation 4, right? I have 5 numbers to pick from, but only 4 are needed, and the order matters, which is why that's a permutation. All right, and then let's see if I'm going to do a 4-digit number. Notice this is a good example. Because of the 0, I only have 3 possible choices here, right? That number here can only be a 7, 8, or 9. Now, once I've picked one of those numbers, and I don't know which one it is, then I'm left with 3 to pick from, then 2, then 1, which makes 18. Okay? So now, the very last example, there are 8 boys and 5 girls, and we're choosing 6. Okay, so we're not arranging all of them. There are 13 people to pick from. We are choosing 6 in a handy-dandy calculator, 17, 16. Okay, now sometimes we want, 3 and 3, right? We want a nice, perfectly balanced group. So out of the 8 boys, we're going to choose 3, and out of the 5 girls, we're going to choose 3. And if you multiply these two together, you should get 560. Okay, so then the last one says at least 2 of each gender. Okay, so what that means is you'll have no teams with all one gender. Okay, so personally, I find these problems so much easier to do if I make sort of a little chart to figure out what are the possibilities here. We could have 1 boy and 5 girls. That would make a group of 6. Oh, wait, but that doesn't work, does it? That doesn't work because I don't have 2 of each gender. I could have 2 and 4. I could have 3 and 3. I could have 4 and 2. I could have 5 and 1. Oh, wait, that does not work either. Or I could have 6 and 0. Oh, wait, that doesn't work either. Right? Does that make sense? So all I've done is I've listed all the possible ways to choose 6 out of the boys and the girls. Okay? And I know the grand total for all of this. That's what we answered in part 1, right? This is just all the different ways to choose 6 people out of the whole group. So now what I need to do is I need to subtract these 3 combinations that don't work, that don't give me at least 2 of each gender. So for the top one, right, I'm going to do this one first. That means out of the 8 boys, I would have to choose 1. And out of the 5 girls, I would have to choose 5. I need to take those away. Then this one next, out of the 8 boys, I would have to choose 5. And out of the 5 girls, I would have to choose 1. And then for this last one, if it's all 6 boys, that means out of the 8 boys, I would have to choose 6. And if you put this big calculation in your calculator all at once, you'll figure out that there are 1,400 ways that you can pick having at least 2 of each gender.